Welcome to this new lesson of AUDACES programs. In this video, we will show the use of AUDACES ESA. AUDACES ESA has been designed for work planning. With this program, we can manage and share collections in real time. ESA is a program that, in addition to being set in the window of downloaded programs, we can find it directly on the web. To access it, simply enter the email and personal password of AUDACES. Let's open the program. As the first heading we find the welcome page and on the right the links to help and information about our programs. In the left bar we find 4 icons that we will need to work in the collection. Clicking on collection will open the page of our collection of all those created. Let's start creating a new one. Click on Create Collection. Here, we enter all the necessary data that is required to start creating the collection. Enter the name, the season, year of release, the brand we are working for, the responsible person of this collection, the budget we have, and also selecting the type of currency, and if it is part of a specific mix that we have already created previously in the settings in the list. We can also insert an image for the cover of the collection. Once we have set up all the necessary data, we continue by clicking on Next. Now, we are in the setup part. Here we can see all the steps that every design inside this collection must do. Just double-click inside the list box and write the step as we need. In this case, we are replacing Design for Search Images. We can also decide to delete a step by clicking on the bin in the icon on the top right part of the screen, or decide to add one phase by clicking on the plus we can see between the step. If we want to move the position of one phase, we just need to click on the arrows we see there. Furthermore, we can decide to use predefined steps that we have created previously in the settings of AUDACES ESA. Once we decided our steps, click on Next. In this part it will be possible to set all the working dates. Here we would also have the possibility to divide the collection into cycles. It helps if our collection will be composed of 2 different styles or dates of productions, but being part of the same one. In this case we are going to divide this collection on fashion dresses and basic dresses. For the first name, instead of cycle 1, we write fashion dresses. We decide the start and the end date of the collection, the number of models that this style will contain and, finally, we configure the dates for each step.
Proseguiamo a configurare le date per ogni step.
Now we click on New Cycle and set the name by typing basic dresses and repeat the process we did with the other style. When we have finished entering all the necessary data, click on Finish. For modifying the mixes of the categories we have created, inserting the garments of which they will be part, we click on Edit Mix. Here we enter the first name of the category. In this case we write dresses, then we click on Create and after on New Article. A small icon with a t-shirt design will appear in the window and by clicking on it, various types of predefined typologies will appear. Choose the one that best suits our category. Set the number of items and once finished click on the tick mark. Now we continue by clicking on Create New Category and repeat the same process until we create all the necessary items. We can also delete an icon. Clicking on the icon and on the bin will appear and confirm the action. For rename the category we need to click directly on the name and rewrite it. Once we finish with the fashion dresses, click on Basic and follow the same procedure we did before. Let's repeat. Click on Edit Mix and enter the name of the category you want to create. Find the appropriate icon and enter the number of items you want. Once finished, we close the window. Before we start working in the collection, it is important that we confirm the beginning of it. For this we have to go to Collections and look for the newly created one, click on Start and confirm our choice. Inside the planner of the collection, on the upper right part of the screen we find 3 icons for the display mode of the planning work. In the first button we have the possibility to see the block view, the second icon, by processing area, and the third one, by process. On this last mode of visualization, we can see the information of each phase the product passes, by entering all the updates of the steps. Now, we return to the block view and click on the first dress that we want to edit. In the first menu, we can see all the features that we will then integrate. These features are fully customizable in the left bar. In the second menu we find all the steps that we have inserted before and the relative files if we have already inserted them in the page of the visualization for process. In the third menu, History, we can see all changes and works we did on ISA. And finally we get the Comments menu. Here, for each item, you can leave notes of common reading to communicate with all the people integrated in the collection. To make them participate, we go to Settings, People and type in the email of the person we want to connect and associate a role. Finally, we click on Add User. Let's start editing our collection. We can either click on the blue ID in the upper left part or on the three dots in the upper right and click on Edit Article. We change the name of the product at the top and add the description. We then start editing. Furthermore, we enter all the data regarding the article. The space of the cost, pre-cost and materials will not be possible to fill it because it will be automatically inserted after inserting the idea file concerning that data. We assign the manager and enter the image of the product. Now we start to insert the various processes carried out regarding the shirt. To do this, we move to the visualization by process and click on the round icon represented with lines below the first step, and a window will open. On state we can decide either if this step has been concluded and then insert our file, or if this step is not completed yet, if we skip it or if it is on revision. In this example we decide to select Finished and then we click on Select File, choose the file and load it. Then we tick on Finished Step and save the changes. You will see that the circle will turn green. In the next step, we enter Not Concluded and will see that the circle has remained unchanged. We continue with the next step, Flat Figurine on Idea, click on the circle icon, select the file and charge it. Then we will see a preview of the first page of the document. We tick on Finished Step and save the changes. We do this also for all the steps of which we have the relative files and which have been concluded. But for the step cut we decide that it has not yet been made, then, we tick on the Review option, and it will open a small drop-down that will ask for the reason of this revision we want to do. These customizable for us in the settings. We choose the reason and click on Save Changes. You will notice that this time the circle will become blue with the number 1. The given number stands for the reference of how many reasons that revision contains. For the next step, we decide that the packaging phase will be pending. Then, we click on Suspension Motifs, also these customizable in Settings. We decide the reason and click on Save Changes. This time, the circle icon will turn orange. For the last step, we decide to put Unfinished. Now let's go see our collection with the block view and click on the item which we have just changed the information. In the characteristics we see that the pre-cost and the materials have been updated, since we have previously created the tables in AUDACES idea with the corresponding data and subsequently inserted the file in the steps a minute ago. Now we click on the ID and go to the step menu. Here we see all the steps that we have just inserted. In the row of files, we see that we have the reference number of the inserted files, and we can click on it to open and download them. If we click on the file, a window will open showing all the uploaded documents. Click on what we want to download, and on the top right will illuminate the icon with the download symbol. If we click on it, the file will be downloaded. Here it is. Now we can see every file that belonged to this product on the same place. Let's go back to the collection and edit the next product. Click on it and then on the ID. Here we enter and compile the features. Insert the file. Once finished, we return to the collection and move on to by process visualization and start filling the phases. The first and second step we decide that they're going to be finished, but with the third step, we click on the review option and choose the reason. On the fourth step, we assign him a specific person who will take care of this phase of work. Once the name has been set, click on Save Changes and go back to the step, but this time we set up more than one revision. After saving the changes we did, we will notice that the number at the top of the circle icon will no longer show the number 1 but 3, since we have set 3 reasons why we have to review that product. This you can also do it with the reasons of suspension. Once determined, click on Save Changes. Repeat it also for the following step. Let's proceed with the following phases. At the top right part of the screen, we have icons for the organization of the collection. Clicking on General View the program will open a page where you can view the distribution of the work in percentages. All the information has been divided. If we click on Collection Status, we can see all the momentary information of the collection. Clicking on Calendar will open the agenda for our collection. Here we can create and write down the various events or reminders. And, if we click on Settings, it will bring us back into the initial settings of the collection. Today, we saw how to start creating a collection on AUDACES ESA. Every day we can continue making changes, and once finished it, we can go to the home page of the collections and click on Finish. Thanks for watching this video. We invite you to continue watching the following videos on all AUDACES programs.